Greetings. I wanted to jump on today because I feel like it's a really interesting energy. It feels like we have not only jump timelines, but there is some false timeline presentations also at the same time as an accelerated timeline. So both are there. So I think doing some inner work around this false presentation is going to help us all jump on to the correct timeline. So let's take the issues of fraudulent or false or fake. Okay, just those languaging, those concepts that we might see, that we definitely see in the exterior world environment, and to turn the mirror inward on the self now and locate where the self has shown up in a false, fraudulent, or fake presentation. And that can just mean, where were you showing up that wasn't completely authentic? Where have you been in your life? Where have I been in my life where there's a little bit of false or a role or an act, okay, being played out? We've all been here. And we're all probably here in one way or another right now. So part of assisting in the ascension process of the earth through what's going on in the United States is for each of us, as many of us as possible, to locate within ourselves that false presentation and allow us, first of all, to accept and appreciate and love that about ourselves in the past, and then to arrest, if you will, that process in ourself, arrest that presentation, which means to stop, right? Arrest means to stop, so that the new presentation can show. So now we're shifting into an authentic high timeline, okay? So we can look at, and you might want to get a note paper to write these things down. You can write, where am I showing up as not totally authentic? Where might someone consider me to be fake or fraudulent or playing a role? And these are not things in our life that are necessarily bad. It's just we're all on our journey to remembrance and to wholeness and evolution. So we have to be willing to take self-responsibility, to look at our attitudes and behaviors and how we're showing up, and identify where the illusion's been holding strong. Okay, where the deception, if you will, to self. So, for example, it might be, are you living in a place that is not totally in alignment with your highest purpose, that you're not able to fully express yourself, and you deceive yourself into thinking this is the only thing that you can have right now, or this is all there is, or this is the front or the role I have to play right now based on financials or whatever. Okay, so this is an example. So if you find that in your reality, then first of all, just love that about yourself, that you've noticed that that's brought you to this point. Have honor for you. Accept, receive, love that about yourself too, and make the decision that you're going to arrest that behavior. You're going to stop the fraud, stop the role playing, and move into a more authentic expression. Okay, so today is the day that you are arresting false behavior, fraudulent behavior, and roles in your life that are not authentic. Okay, so as we make the oath, so to speak, and we together agree to do this, as within, so without. As within, we do this, we see the reflection externally to who is playing that part externally. That's a role, that's false, that's a fraudulent, who also needs to have that behavior arrested. And if not self-checking, then checking from the appropriate sources or authorities who have the power and are in alignment to do that. So you might just make a list, where am I not in alignment, where am I fraud, and to go through and love that about yourself. So I want you to go through every area. I'm doing this too. Living situation, so home, your role in your family. Are you being authentic and true to who you are? Are you role in your relationship? Are you, false in your relationship? Are you being true to yourself in the relationship? What behaviors might need to be arrested there that are fraudulent, that are maybe people-pleasing attitudes, a front, a cover, a role? We all need to unmask at this time and show the true, authentic self. So also in finances, are we faking? Are we being fraudulent? Are we not telling the full story? Are we deceiving ourselves? Are we faking ourselves out that we have something or don't have something when we do? Our health. Are you telling yourself the truth about your health and body? Are you deceiving yourself? Are you playing a false role? And none of these are to judge or point. These are self-reflection tools to utilize to allow us to evolve, to arrest previous behavior and evolve in our consciousness. And then we might just take it to the purely physical, since we're talking about health, the purely physical standpoint. So you could close your eyes and you can feel in your body where does it feel like you? And I've heard people say, oh, my belly doesn't feel like me. Okay, so, but it is part of you, right? So if that's the case, then you're being false to yourself, saying this isn't part of me. So feel that part of you that you've kind of rejected and said, this isn't real. So it's working in the reverse too, right? And choose to love that part of you. If it's your belly and it's hanging out and you haven't liked it, love that part of you anyway. This is me too. Allow your love to seep into that area of your body. This is me too. I love me. And I'm going to show up fully authentic with this part and all. This wound and all. This, these thighs and all, or whatever it is. This scar, this limp, this whatever is the seeming setback, okay? Because otherwise you're portraying a false sense of self. If you're really denying that that's you, then it's a false presentation, okay? So as we own this, we're enacting an authenticity energy to come into the field, to come into reality. And that's what we want right now. We want the authentic expression. We want the pure and true and highest timeline expression. That is the acceleration. And so that's some of the work to do that with. So before we close this, just taking a deep breath into your body, and however you're feeling right now, whether you want to be feeling this way or not, choose to accept, embrace, and love this about yourself too. Say, this is me too. Feeling this way is also me. Me, maybe feeling a different way than I would like to, but embracing that sensation too as part of being human, part of the experience with bodies. Sometimes they're up, sometimes they're down, sometimes they're feeling fresh and bright, sometimes they're tired or congested or whatever it is, and that's just the nature of the ebb and flow of this experience. And so the quicker we can accept and embrace that ebb and flow, the more fluid it becomes, the more it moves and can, not remain stagnant, right? Just like water needs flow, so it doesn't become stagnant, sitting still. Also, our consciousness needs fluidity. It needs to move. It needs to, like our money needs to move. If we just have it sitting somewhere, it gets stagnant. So we have to move it in order to get the flow to going again. In our relationships too, sometimes we need a little friction if things have become just, same old, to go to the next level, to create some movement in there. And at first that might not feel good if it's been like, not talking about it for a while, but sometimes we need that push to move that energy so there's fluidity. So we constantly have that flow, that ebbing and flowing, that renewal energy that is universal, that is source, that is love. So with that, just sending the awareness of love today, wherever you're at, and to embrace, accept, send love to previous parts of self, previous expressions of self that maybe we have put up a front or a show or a role or a fake, and now honoring the part of us that is ready to arrest that inauthentic self and transform into an authentic expression that embraces all parts of self, including that one that was fake. That was an aspect of self. So we're going to just love that self, and then we're going to move into authentic expression as the prevalent. And authentic means if you're sad, you're sad, right? If you're feeling great, you're feeling great. If you feel anger, that's valid too. But to be the most mature spiritually that we can with those energies. So, for example, anger is just a power, an energy, a source of energy. So to honor all these elements coming through. Okay, I have been pulling I Ching. I did miss some days here. I actually did pull one this morning when I woke up for this time, and it is hexagram 30. Hexagram 30, in short, is the clinging, Li. Above fire and below fire, so fire upon fire, feeding the inner flame. It says fire will not burn on its own, but must cling to the fuel that feeds it. So too does the superior person seek fuel to feed the spiritual fire, lest it burn out from neglect. As the flame within grows brighter, it adds its light to the world and improves it. Clinging to what is true and right brings good fortune. So this is really a call to strengthen the inner spiritual fire, to not neglect it, to not get passive, like, oh, whatever's happening, and just go into complacency again. Because the whole awakening that we're all in is about coming out of stagnation, moving back into the flow. Sometimes it's up, sometimes it's down, but consciousness around what we're doing and continually feeding the fire, spiritual fire, the alchemical fire that transmutes and transforms within us, is essential to our success, to us moving toward that not only authentic place in ourself, but the authentic potential that we have as people on earth to live the highest timeline of bounty and plenty and joy and creation and love. So with that, cling to these higher aspirations today. Find your spiritual practice, find your heart, love all the parts of yourself that you have not, and let's move from this false timeline expression fully into the authentic fast track that is available to us. Okay. Much love to you.